Lessons in Chemistry is taking every viewer by surprise, but the strange facts surrounding this story are definitely more shocking than what fans already know. For a show well detailed in how chemistry was done in the 60s, you will be shocked to find out that the original author is self-taught on the topic. Lessons in Chemistry is adapted from a novel of the same title that Bonnie Garmis wrote, and while it's not totally strange that many authors had to learn a specific topic before writing on it, Bonnie went through this in a very special way. The author of the story got the idea after a very terrible meeting at work and started writing about Elizabeth Zott from there. Actually, the character of Elizabeth has been part of Bonnie's creation since she was 5 years old, as she once wrote a story where she was a minor character. Then she also got inspired after reading Betty Friedan's The Feminine Mystique, which is a 1963 classic. From the book, she got the right and perfect way to set her story in the 60s and still bring a modern feminist touch to it. But the craziest part of writing the story was learning chemistry and knowing exactly how it works. And of course, all she needed was research, like most authors do. But with a story set in the 60s, searching Google for answers wouldn't have been very accurate. This is because she had to keep the chemistry knowledge within the 50s and 60s, as anything outside that would make the book less educational and genuine. Speaking about the writing process, Bonnie said, "It's really hard when you're reading something and it mentions, a reaction and you think, okay, when was that reaction discovered? Would it fit the time frame? So I had to teach myself chemistry from a textbook from the 50s. Other things she learned about the subject were from when she was working as a copywriter in medicine, technology, and education. Bonnie started doing lab experiments by herself, and she almost burned down her house twice before fire departments came to the rescue. The interesting thing about the disaster is that Bonnie has no regrets, because she was able to learn and understand the rules that go with the usage of chemicals. Another strange fact about Lessons in Chemistry is that it almost became a TV show before it became a book, and this was mostly due to Brie Larson, who stars as the lead character in the show. So Brie actually got a copy of the unpublished novel a few years ago, and that's when she knew that this story had the potential to make it to TV. She said, "I was given an advance copy of it 2 or almost 3 years ago now, and it felt like a little secret because nobody else had the book at the time, and I just flew through it and was just immediately taken by this character, Elizabeth Zott." But then the backstory of how the novel got so much attention is even more fascinating. One of the struggles in publishing a book is finding a publisher, but this story was so good that it seemed everyone was interested. A publishing auction was set, and there were about 16 publishers from the United States who were bidding for the book. That was when Bonnie's agent, Felicity Blunt, told her that the book had been getting attention from Hollywood as well, which was insane because the actual book wasn't even in print yet. Instantly, Felicity also told her they already booked her a film agent and everything was already set, as they asked her to name which cast she imagined while writing the story. All of this came really fast at Bonnie because her focus at the time was to get published, but the immediate reaction to turn it into a show was very surprising. While speaking about the experience, she said, "There were like 38 different studios who were interested, and it was just very overwhelming. But I will say," Brie Larson zoomed with me and she said, "I want to be executive producer and I want to bring this to life. I have an incredible amount of respect for her." So Brie eventually got to make her interest known in the TV adaptation, and many other developments, which you will later find out, took off from there. However, another shocking fact you didn't know about Lessons in Chemistry is that the author has faced many rejections with her works in the past. In fact, she called herself the rejection queen, and she still finds it unbelievable to have gotten her big break at the age of 64. Bonnie, who's now 66, was actually born with her writing skills, which means she has been writing for a very long time. But things went differently than planned while trying to write her debut novel. Apparently, her first attempt at trying to get published wasn't with Lessons in Chemistry. Before that, Bonnie wrote another novel and sent it to 98 agents, but they all rejected her. She stated the reason why, saying the problem was it was very long, and one agent said, "You have no business writing 700 pages as a debut author." About 100 times, publishers told her no and ruined her hope of putting out her debut novel until Lessons in Chemistry came along to change everything. The rejection definitely left the author shattered, but she picked up herself to continue in her daily job as a freelance copywriter. So back to the meeting that pushed her to start writing Lessons, Bonnie revealed that she made her ideas known during a presentation with her colleagues, who are mostly men, but she was ignored. Then a man repeated the ideas and everyone present listened. This terrible experience got Bonnie really angry as she explained how she lets her anger bring out her best. She said, and that had happened a few times before, and this was just one time too many, so I thought, damn it, and came home and wrote the first chapter of Lessons. But the story didn't end there. When she was almost done with her write-up, she experienced writer's block and couldn't continue to write. However, she took some writing classes and got to meet with other writers before finally being able to pull through. Another thing you didn't know is that it was through these writers' meetings that she got noticed by Felicity, who became her agent. And that was when the wonders began to happen as they got a lot of interest in her book, which moved really fast. Bonnie said that she's still yet to recover from the shock because, as someone who was rejected almost 100 times, having Lessons accepted without any trouble looked unreal. Now, it takes more than an interest, actually, to turn a book into a show, so Brie Larson was already on board way earlier than anyone else, and she took the project very seriously, which rarely happens. Another exciting coincidence quickly happened as to who could be the showrunner of the show. As soon as the book was published, Lee Eisenberg's wife picked a copy and started to read. On seeing how great the story was, she told Lee that the book is like a series and that he should consider reading it. Lee actually started to read and was lost in the book, and he quickly fell in love with Bonnie's writing style. It gets even better because at the time that Lee discovered the book, he had a current deal with Apple TV to pitch any story he wanted to make, and he found the perfect story, which was Lessons in Chemistry, and everything else just clicked from there. Lee revealed how the instant coincidence was a huge deal in making the series when he said, "Had my wife been reading a different book or had her Kindle not been charged, this song would have gone very differently." Now, don't forget that Brie also took the initiative and was already a big part of the process, so there was no question on who would play the role as the actress already connected so well with it. So Brie took the project to meet the director, Sarah Adina Smith, and from there, they connected with Lee to make the show. When asked how all of this came together, Lee revealed that there's no one else that could have played Elizabeth in the series. He explained better, saying, "The evolution of this project is that Brie Larson brought it to us, not the other way around. I think for both me and Sarah with our other projects, you develop something for years and years, and then you hope that Brie Larson's agent takes a look at it, and then that's the process." So it's a big deal for an actress to take this much interest in a project before a showrunner, director, and scriptwriter comes in. And when they saw that, they trusted Brie immediately because only a masterpiece could have that effect on her. Lee further added more fun details to this story by saying that Brie auditioned them instead of the other way around, and that's because Brie wanted to make sure the right team got to work on the show, as she had seen the vision way before the book was actually published, and she wanted no one to mess with it. One of the most loved characters in the series is 630, the dog, and the crazy fact about it is that the dog is the only character that's not fictional in the show. 630 is actually based on a rescue dog, Friday, owned by the author. According to the author, the dog was very intelligent and was always listening to instructions, even in a foreign language. So, bringing out the character of 630 is a way to honor the memory of Friday as he passed away at the age of 17. Share your thoughts in the comments, and thanks for watching!